practical path to AI-driven efficiency. So since I quit my corporate job in February 2025, I've spent hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars experimenting with AI tools up to a couple of hours a day. I've really gone down the rabbit hole, and based on my experience in corporate working in technology and change roles as a project manager and a business analyst, I've been thinking a lot about how business owners can take advantage of AI and transform their business. So that's what I'm going to share with you today, something that I've been working on in terms of a framework to identify how to actually move from thinking about AI transformation to actually starting to get results. So the overarching philosophy that I've landed on is it's more important to start small and build momentum than think that you have to have a big AI project that fixes all of the problems in your business. It's better to find a small task, find an AI tool to automate that task, learn what works in your business, learn what doesn't work in your business, and then move on from there, having built that experience yourself about what works and what doesn't work. Because every business is different and you can't rely on the templates that another business is working on. So the market's changing because of how fast AI is evolving, and there's a gap that's emerging between businesses that are open to experimenting with new technology and businesses that aren't. So while some companies are claiming to be laying off lots of people because of AI, under the hood, only a handful are really pushing forward the use cases where they're picking bundles of tasks that an AI tool can automate and really moving forward out of that pilot and proof of concept phase. So standing still is a choice to fall behind. My take is that a lot of businesses, the day-to-day tasks that teams are doing, they're not as complex as we make them out to be. If you map out the processes and the task checklists, you'll find that the existing models are capable of automating that. We don't need to wait for GPT-5 to start seeing real value add across all forms of functions in a business. So this Big Bang AI project myth, which I referenced earlier, is this idea where, like going to the cloud or Y2K bug, doing AI is sometimes seen as this massive investment that you need to go hire a big AI automation agency or spend a lot of money. My take is that it's actually more about using the opportunity of the leverage that AI tools give you to redesign how your business works from an operating model perspective. So you look at your people, you look at your process, you look at your platforms, and you start breaking down all the changes you need to do into small bundles of tasks, starting with the simpler problems, solving them, moving on. Again, figuring out what works and what doesn't work in your business, and then expanding the scope of what can be automated with AI over time. Starting small is a much better place than trying to do these big projects. And again, if you as the business owner or the leader making the decisions about AI transformation aren't using the tools yourself, it's going to be really hard to develop that gut feel and intuition about how much automation a particular process can handle. Some processes are going to need much more safety guardrails and a lot more human in the loop decision making to make sure that outputs meet the right quality or certain regulatory expectations are met. So if you start small, you start building that muscle and learn about what can and can't easily be automated in your business. Who am I? Why do you want to listen to me about AI transformation? So I've got 12 years experience in project and change delivery in financial services. I've completed my program, project and change management qualifications, and I spent a lot of time hands-on with AI tools, looking at how it can help automate tasks, deliver better outcomes, and do things better, faster, and cheaper. One thing I've been spending a lot of time on recently is AI coding tools, so using Claude Code to build a side project, but also experimenting in using the agent and sub-agent model to do work in non-coding cases. There are a lot of tools in the AI space, such as coding agents, and I'm optimistic about over the next few years, a lot of these coding agents are going to be used in non-coding usage. Developers People in the finance function will use them. People in the operations function will use them. People in the customer service function will use them. And all of these specialist agents and sub-agents are going to deliver those substantial reductions in operating cost over the next few years as each function by function gets pushed to a machine instead of having a team of people delivering that outcome. I've also been spending a lot of time researching and writing about AI transformation from a ground up economics perspective. So I studied economics at university, and it's always been interesting to me the decisions that businesses make about what they do themselves and whether they outsource or offshore or make other decisions like that. So I publish a weekly newsletter on Substack, and that's mainly about the operating model changes that I think businesses need to make to win in this AI era. So following on from my research and experimentation with AI tooling framework in following on from my research and experimentation, I've landed on 6 areas that I think business owners should be thinking about when it comes to how do they get AI from idea into delivering results for them in their business. So the first is getting your data AI ready. The second is building a culture of having a go. The third is mapping processes so they're ready to be automated. The fourth is open your digital front door. The fifth is AI as a business tool. And the sixth is a shift to short, sharp projects where you can focus on automating one thing and see the results of that automation quickly. Focus one is get your data AI ready. So the problem is that information is trapped in emails and spreadsheets or multiple systems, and it's not all talking to each other easily. So this makes it hard for tools to be effective. Now, what's happening is a lot of AI tools are building connectors. So you can connect your email and your calendar and your CRM and your Google Drive and your OneDrive into these AI tools so you can design workflows that have access to your important business context. And that's fantastic. So one of the questions I'd suggest you ask is, how easily can an AI tool get a single accurate view of a customer's history? It's a great question, and for some businesses that have invested in their CRM, this might be quite straightforward. For others, this represents the first hurdle that needs to be overcome or blocker that needs to be removed. If your data isn't AI ready, it's harder to get the right results. The second focus area is building a culture of having a go. So the problem is that in some organizations, getting something started takes too many meetings. It's really important to build a culture where your team members feel comfortable experimenting, making mistakes, learning from them, and moving on, where the next time they try and automate something with an AI tool, it's informed by the lessons they've learned in the past. One question I'd suggest asking is, how many approvals does it take to test a small, low-risk AI tool? So if you've got too much bureaucracy, this AI transformation won't work. Why? Because what AI does is quickens the pace at which decisions need to be made. So if you haven't made the decision to do things like roll out access to ChatGPT or Copilot for all your team members, that's an easy place to start. You really want your team to have a safe and secure way for accessing your business data in a way that you can control, instead of people using AI tools on their personal devices. The third focus area is mapping your processes for automation. The problem is that in a lot of businesses, not all the information is written down, it's in people's heads. And that's great. You have subject matter experts, you have valued employees, that's cool. But what it means is if workflows depend on manual intervention and manual knowledge, it's a lot harder for AI to automate. So a diagnostic question here would be, could I give written instructions for an AI agent to handle a core task? And if you can't do that, well, that's a problem, because you need to design your processes in a way that, one, they can be written down, two, you can develop success criteria, And 3, you have a framework for assessing whether a task has been done well or not. So building up that culture of writing stuff down starts to be very useful in AI because AI can read stuff. That's one thing AI is good at. So if you have clear written processes and an idea of what good looks like for the key outputs that you're expecting your team members to deliver, your automation journey with AI is going to be a bit easier. The fourth focus area is opening your digital front door. So what the problem is when customers have to ring you up on the phone or send emails to do business with you is that works now, but over the next few years, AI agents are going to be making purchasing decisions. This sounds crazy, but already you can go into ChatGPT and ask it for find me a plumber in Sydney, find me a home renovation company in Toronto. If you don't have the ability for an AI agent to make an informed purchasing decision because of how you present your business to the world on your website and in your documentation and explanations of how you work, it's going to be really hard. You might cast your mind back to social media marketing and search engine optimization and that era. That's kind of over. It still matters, but now it's not about optimizing your business's web presence for Google to find you. It's optimizing your web presence for AI agents to even include you in the comparison against your peers. So, an example of how important this is there are already patterns emerging in software coding tools where languages and packages that have better documentation and more content are getting selected more by AI coding tools when they build something new as a pattern because they see all this Python code and all this sort of stuff over here. They're like, oh yeah, that must be good. There's so much about it. So this is a real challenge that a lot of business owners will need to start thinking about. It's at the moment, if you have a book a sales call or something like that, you might need to shift that to offering up much more detail about how you work and how you price and how you do that sort of thing so that you are feeding into those AI agent buying and purchasing recommendations over time. The fifth focus area is seeing AI as a business tool, not just a technology tool. So a wait and see approach might seem like a good idea, but my take is that if you're still waiting and seeing, you're just not taking the risk of AI disruption seriously enough. This has gone well beyond hype. Already, there are a lot of simple entry level tasks that an AI tool can do better. So, if you're paying people to do those tasks, you're literally burning money. A lot of entry level customer support tasks and things like that are already better done by some of the AI customer support tools. Big companies are laying off hundreds of customer support people because they've figured out that they can have their people focus on the more complex first point resolution issues. So, AI as a business tool is a different framing from AI as a technology. So, to circle back to what I was saying earlier about operating model, you need to be thinking about AI as kind of like a thinking or software upgrade for your people, processes, and platforms. It's not just rolling out a new customer relationship tool. It's not just rolling out a new accounting software. It's thinking for all of the processes that I do across my business, if I started from scratch at a whiteboard using AI to help me design the most automated and highest quality process, how would I actually rebuild my business? And if you make that sort of mental switch, you start thinking a lot differently about what the structure of your business could look like. The sixth focus area is a shift to short, sharp projects. So, one of the challenges, like I was talking about earlier with the Big Bang project, is it's really not going to work if you've got a complex business and you need to go function by function, team by team, and figure out what is able to be automated, what can be automated if you have regulatory or compliance restrictions. And my take is that you want to be breaking down your AI transformation into 2 week sprints where you're finding really small things, figuring out how do I automate them, what blockers do I need to remove to be able to automate them. You get the teams using the new tools, and then you move on to the next task. And you start with small tasks and you build the capability over time so that you can have your teams build up knowledge and comfort with the tools and overcome change resistance. So, in terms of a diagnostic, I'd want to be thinking about, can you get an AI tool from idea to production in under a month? I think that's a reasonable challenge for some medium sized businesses because of the approvals and how they work, but this is a mindset shift. We need to be moving faster. Transformation is coming faster. As AI tools get better, your competitors and AI first startups in your space will be coming after the products and services you're selling because they're going to have a leaner operating model. That means there'll be pressure on pricing, pressure on market share, pressure on customer expectations. So, starting with these small projects and accumulating the benefits from them makes a lot more sense than trying to plan out a massive AI project, which you try and bite off more than you can chew. So, what does your path to AI driven efficiency look like? So, I'm wanting to help people move from thinking about AI transformation to starting their AI transformation journey. In the description below is a link to book a free complimentary call with me to talk through your AI transformation challenges, identify those blockers, and start coming up with plans to move forward with an AI transformation.